Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video and another one in the series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full discography of David Bowie. And in this video we have arrived at his fifth album, Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Now, this album for me is really personal because this was one of the first records I became aware of as when I was young. I was 14 years old. It had a mythical status. A lot of people were talking about it, and the story of Ziggy Stardust, the bisexual alien coming from outer space to Earth to become a rock star and to warn the people for an apocalypse. I really enjoyed that story. As a matter of fact, a year ago I got a call from a Dutch radio station with regard to songs being made into films, because I'm a filmmaker, and they asked me if I had to choose one song to make into a film. I said, it's a song and it's an album, which I would choose. I'd make a film out of the story of Ziggy Stardust. Only I would make it ambiguous to what extent he was actually an alien or not, or he believed himself to be an alien. So that would be my little change. But Bowie's records lend themselves for films and stories, and to a certain extent he played a Ziggy Stardust-like character a couple of years later in the film by Nicholas Roeg, The Man Who Fell to Earth, though there are some differences. He doesn't come to Earth to warn people, he comes to Earth to find water for his home planet. Now, that's the movie. This album, it's a game changer for Bowie. This is the game changer. Before this, he did get in the public eye from time to time. Space Oddity was a hit. Hunky Dory was, I believe, a good selling record. I'm not completely sure. But he was not a superstar. As a matter of fact, one of the reviews for this album was that it would not be unfair if Bowie would reach the amount of superstardom he's singing about with this album. That's interesting to take in mind. This album is about superstardom from a musician who's doing well, but who's not a superstar at that point. As a matter of fact, I was at a record stand here in Amsterdam, on Waterloo Square, and there was somebody who was selling records, and he was talking to a guy who actually toured the UK in the early 70s. And I asked about some Bowie stuff, and we got to talking about Bowie, and he told me that at the time in the early 70s, he was actually in the same scene as Bowie when he started the Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars tour. Interesting story. He said early on the tour, he would do gigs in the exact same evening as Bowie, but it were pubs. It were pub-like places where people would talk through the show. And he said that he still remembered that he and his band did a set, and then afterwards Bowie was on the stage, and he thought, oh, what's this guy looking like? And then he ended up the show with I believe it's Rock and Roll Suicide and Give Me Your Hand. Bowie was shouting, give me your hand, and he was reaching out his hand, and he told me that he was thinking, no, I'm not gonna touch your hand, I don't know where you've been. During the tour, Bowie became famous, and he said that at the end of the tour he bought another ticket, or he bought a ticket, because the first time he didn't have to buy a ticket, he was on the same bill. And he said at the end it was insane. During the tour he became the pop star he was singing about. That's just, for me, a fascinating element of Ziggy Stardust myth. And this album is at its core, although there are more interesting albums. And there are some very interesting live albums. So next week, for example, I'll do the Santa Monica show, which is very interesting as well. Now, the album itself. I'm just a raving fanboy. Seriously. Starts off with 5 years. Beautiful song. I mean, and the way Bowie builds it, I mean, it's such a rich sounding record. His vocals are so good. He really believes what he's singing. Interesting thing is, the producer Ken Scott said that 95% of the vocal takes on his album are actually first takes. As a matter of fact, a month ago, I was at the Haarlem Vinyl Festival watching Michael Fremmer. He was doing a presentation there. And in front of me was co-producer of this album, Ken Scott, which I just find insane. You know, I mean, this guy recorded a lot of my heroes. And he was just there, sitting in front of me. Now, it's just fanboy. I find it tough to give you guys a critical review of this album because I'm just a fanboy. Soul Love is beautiful. Moonage Daydream. I'm an alligator. I mean, there are so many beautiful, powerful songs here. It just goes on. There's not a single filler here. Starman. There's a Starman waiting. It's so good. It Ain't Easy. It's a very nice song. Then side to Lady Stardust. Smooth motherfucker. Star. Hang On To Yourself. Ziggy Stardust. Suffragette City. Ooh, ending off of Rock and Roll Suicide, which I think is one of the best Bowie songs ever. Rock and Roll Suicide is a masterpiece. The way it builds, the lyrics, there is myth in there. It's just, yeah, all I can say about this album is praise, praise, praise. I love it. I love it. I love it. It means the world to me. So there you have it. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. And perhaps you can right now, if you're watching the premiere of this video, you can immediately afterwards watch the comparison of this video because I compared this pressing. This is the first UK. I compared it to a Rock Originals pressing from the Netherlands and the Mobile Fidelity SoundLab pressing from 1981. So if you're curious to find out what is the best sounding version of this album, check the other video on my channel. You can find the link below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!